Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another PPL Season 2 coach interview. I am GoldoaDragon, and I am joined this time with Lars L. Scizor, coach of the Borussia Donphan. Would you like to say hello? Introduce yourself.
Hola, girls. Once again, I'm here on the PPL channel to talk a little bit myself before the season. And before we start, of course, big compliment to Goldoa here for the pronunciation of my team name, which was pretty much flawless compared to a lot of other people who tried to pronounce it.
I take pride in my work. It's very important to get things right. But yeah, you're probably one of the most experienced draft league players at this point. So if you're watching this and you've never seen Lars before, I don't know how you're watching Draft League and haven't. Go check out his channel. Links, I think, to all the channels are going to be in the description. But absolutely one of the most prolific Draft League content creators out there at this point. And yeah, let's not assume everyone knows you. Let's hear from you. Like, what is your Draft League story? How did you get here? Where are you coming from? How long have you been playing? All those, demographic-y style questions. Like, where are you at?
Okay, yeah, as you already heard, my channel name is Scizor, my real name is Lars. I don't really care either way what people call me, both is fine. And yeah, like I already mentioned, I'm probably, at this point, the Draft League player I know of which has the longest running career. Like, there are people who started before me playing Draft League, but they all had like a break at some point, or they're still on break. From the start, league, I just kept joining leagues and kept playing, so I think I have the longest running career actually. And actually I have to check on my channel, like, when did my career start. It started with GPC Season 1, which is a league name you probably never heard of, but it started, I think, before or shortly after the original PPL season 1. So yeah, and yeah, there I played for the first time. I did pretty well there. I got some attention from other people in the community. I got invited at some point to the GBA as well, which is probably a league name you heard before. And that's where my name got more out there in the community. And yeah, that's basically my story in the Draft League career, city, stuff like that. And there we go, 8 years ago. 8 years ago, GBC Season 1.
That's crazy. That's absolutely wild that you've been playing continuously for 8 years. And yeah, I think the GBA was somewhere in there that we actually first met. And that was, probably 5-6 years ago now. And then we've kind of overlapped a lot. So it's cool to actually get a chance to talk to you. For those who don't know, Lars and I will communicate every once in a while in various leagues, but I don't actually get to talk to him face to face very often. So this is kind of nice. So, all right, long career, tons of content, but I'm going to put you on the spot here. What was your favorite thing about Draft League? It could be a Pokemon, like a move set. It could be like a winning a championship. Favorite thing about Draft League that's ever happened to you at any point?
Okay, so I think like the favorite moment was, where was back in the day where I just got the call on Skype. Back in the day, we used Skype for league stuff, where I was notified or invited to the GBA, which was like the big thing back then. I was a small YouTuber. I watched a lot of people who were in GBA, and then I actually got invited. That was the very hype moment for me back in the day. Recently, I think the most fun I had in the league was actually, once again, with the GBA, with the double coaches, being with Frank together, like having the live auction draft and all this team building together and all the other shenanigans we did in videos together. I think that was a very different experience than the usual. You build yourself, you play yourself, you record yourself. Just having a buddy with you all the time, like where you can, we didn't bounce off that many ideas of each other, but of course we did. I'm, as people probably know, I'm not that big a fan of front office. This is plurals are hard, and yeah. But just in general, the recording together and all the fun stuff, you just, while talking to friends, messing around with sets, it was a lot of fun. And especially the live auction draft was like something I didn't expect to be that enjoyable.
Yeah. I was sad that I had to miss that. Obviously, getting a little sidetracked from PPL here, we were obviously both in the GBA that season. So, yeah, glad to hear that. And actually, I just want to ask you this, and it's not a question that I was originally scripted to ask you, but I'm curious because you have such a long career. You started in Gen 7 or Gen 6?
I think it was Gen 6 back then.
Okay, so
yeah, definitely Gen 6, yeah.
Like what has changed that is surprising? Like, if I could ask you, like, from Gen 6 to now, like, is there something that you in Gen 6 if you told yourself like this mon's gonna be amazing, or this thing is gonna be game changer, like what's different now from obviously everything, but like what like something that really surprises you about the difference between Gen 9 and Gen 6?
I think the biggest thing is now, especially now that we get some of the mons back, like they throughout the series of Pokemon, we started to not have access to all the mons, and then more and more get added, usually through DLC, stuff like that. But the power creep, you notice, like mons which are like insane mons back in the day, which like if I pick that, I have like the biggest threat I could ever have on any team. And I'm still in that mindset with a lot of mons. I see mons and I'm like, oh, why is that so cheap? It cannot be allowed. I have to draft it, I have to use it, and then I just compare it to like the newer stuff, and it's most of the time it's fair to price them at that range where they are at the moment. But yeah, the power creep is just insane. Like mons which back in the day was such big threats are just not anymore. They're just like decent mons still.
Yeah.
But not like these, mind-blowing mons to have on their team.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just interesting to hear because you have that, multi-generational experience of just like seeing the Pokemon go from, when Megas are released to Z Crystals to all of that getting removed alongside a bunch of Pokemon and Pursuit and Hidden Power and like losing all of that. Like, just thinking about all the differences now between Gen 6 and Gen 9, like just going back and trying to play is a completely different world. And I just think that's really interesting. And have you done a DLC 2 league yet, or is this going to be your first one for Scarlet and
No,
Violet?
this is my first DLC 2 league.
So, anything you're looking forward to with the DLC 2 league, as all the mons are back, new moves, anything like you're specifically excited about?
Obviously, I'm excited for all the new mons which come back into Draft League, especially some which we didn't have in a long time. I think Gliscor had like a long break before we were allowed to use it again. So stuff like that, like other mons in general which came back. Of course, every time like new mons get new moves, it's exciting as well. They get access to new moves. Like sometimes it changes mons completely. If they like, for example, a lot of ghost types got Poltergeist now, and having like a strong physical ghost type move for some mons is pretty big. And Scald is back, stuff like that. So these little changes where like mons which took a long break, they come back. So they are in the new environment. They probably are not as good as they were before, like I mentioned with the power creep stuff. But just how the effectiveness of them changed with new moves. Like Knockoffs gets distributed a lot. The Supercell slams, like a super strong physical electric move now, which is a buff to a new mons, which we're missing that. I think with Wild Charge being the strongest physical electric move, it's decent, but with the recall not as good as like just spam Earthquake or something like that for ground types. So this is what I'm most excited for, like how the old mons with new moves perform in this new environment.
I know I'm not the one being interviewed, but I always think it's interesting that Earthquake is a Gen 1 move. It has not changed since Gen 1, and it is still like the quintessential compare everything to Earthquake. Like
it's 100 accuracy, no additional effect, that's all you need.
It just does what it does, and it does it so well, and they've never needed to change it, and nothing has been added to it. And like you get Headlong Rush, you get other ground moves, and it's always like, is this actually better than Earthquake? Is this worth the trade-offs? It's just always, I don't know. With all the power creep and everything that's going on, it's fun to just see like Gen 1 moves still being just like the baseline that we're all looking at, comparing things to. Yeah, obviously, since you've been playing draft since Gen 1, your illustrious career.
The red and blue draft league, that was most of the days.
All right, so you've been in the PPL before, so you've got obviously some people in the back of your mind are people you've faced before. Or is there anyone new though in this season of the PPL that you have never faced before, or that you are excited to face? Again, having not faced them in a long time, because there's a lot of new coaches as well this season of the PPL.
So probably people who know me or follow me recently in leagues should know who I'm very excited to play, because I played in Never before, and we are very good friends, and we played in a league together before. I already mentioned his name. It's of course Frank. I never played Frank in Draft League before.
Okay.
And because he didn't have he didn't have a very long career. But we are friends all out. We recorded other shenanigans together, but we never faced each other in league, and I'm very excited for that. I'm sure we're gonna do something special. I'm sure it's not gonna be the standard run-of-the-mill weekly draft league match. I think we are definitely gonna have some kind of weird stuff going on there. But I'm very excited for what's going to happen. I don't know yet what's going to happen there. I don't know yet if we face Eden, but it would be criminal if we don't. And but yeah, that's what I'm very excited about. Who I'm very excited about to face.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a really cool moment, and not something you get to do every day, and not something you do in every league, to face like a really good friend for the first time, and especially on such a big stage. That's awesome. So, all right, coming back to you a little bit, instead of talking about other people and other Pokemon, what should people, besides this one match, obviously, which is going to be a lot of fun, what should people look forward to seeing from you, the Borussia Dawn fan? Like, what content are you going to produce that's going to make you stand out?
Okay, so I think what I started to do rather recently, like with this gen basically, is to have a lot more fun with the stuff I'm doing, with the videos mainly. Not necessarily with the sets, like I do meme sets or stuff like that. I think I build them serious still, but just the kind of video I'm doing. Like, I'm kind of going more into the persona that I'm actual trainer, and these are my players, and I have to coach them, stuff like that. And I don't know yet what I want to do this league. If I go take a different angle or stuff like that, but definitely you're not gonna expect like these standard. Probably we'll see a bunch of times already. Just basically the competitive side of the draft league community or shenanigans battles you can have. I did that a lot like these past few years. Too, of course, in some leagues to some success, in other leagues not. But yeah, I'm like old enough now that I don't need to take it that extremely seriously. Of course, I want to win, but I still want to do something like different. To have a little bit more fun with it. Basically, that's what I'm saying. So, if you're excited for that, for what I can come up with, then yeah, be excited for that, because I am excited for that because I don't know yet either.
I mean, I'm excited. I've watched a lot of your content, and it's always really entertaining. So if you don't even know what you're gonna do yet, that's exciting for me, honestly, as a viewer of you. So
maybe it's gonna be something different every week. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you'll never know if you don't go subscribe. So make sure you do that. But all right, so you've already given one shout out. I know you don't love front offices. We're not going to touch on that right now because I know we have very different opinions on that particular topic. So it's better for us to just let it sit. But is there anyone else you want to give a shout out to while you have this platform to, say thank you to, just give, any sort of recognition to, just here while we got you here?
Of course, the shout outs. So of course, to Jack, just admin of the league. He, one of the admins of the league, because there are many admins, but he puts in a lot of work into this league and did in a lot of leagues before. He is one of even through the dry spell of draft league before it got a resurgence recently, he was the one putting in the work, keep running those leagues, keep inviting people, and yeah, making it all happen. I did run a few leagues myself, but I'm basically always just happy to be a player. I don't really want to have extra work with all the administrative stuff. So I'm very happy that there are people who are motivated to do that. So shout out to him, and of course all the admins in the league as well. Of course, extra shout outs to the analysts like yourself interviewing me. I think it's always underappreciated that this is like basically just extra work for you. You produce content for the PPL channel, for us basically. It's like you get, of course, little recognition, little shout outs here and there for that, but it's basically just extra work for videos, which just make the league more enjoyable, which I want to shout out, because that's what makes a lot of leagues, takes them from just being like one in the 100 leagues and like being the one league, just having like a great analyst team which does like all this extra content and makes this whole league experience fills it a lot more with content and just gives it a whole different experience. So all the analysts who put in work for the league and through that to me, shout out to that, and especially to you, because you put in the work by interviewing me, which is never an easy task.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't expect to get the shout out here, so I'm a little flustered. But honestly, I treat this like talking to friends, and it's a great chance. If anyone else gets the opportunity to be an analyst or an interviewer, highly recommend it. You get to meet some really cool people, and they become your friends very quickly, because everyone here is a good person, wants to hang out, and just, reach out. Give yourself that opportunity. But okay, Borussia Dawn fan, obviously going to win the championship. Like, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
But if something goes horribly wrong, hacks get in the way, who wins? Who's going to win if it's not you?
If it's not me, okay, if it's not me, it honestly can be anyone, because that means shenanigans are going on.
Yeah, there's
And then
a big asterisk next to this, but
yeah, something like then like money is exchanging hands, stuff like that. Like there's like colluding is happening for sure. I'm not winning, so it could be anyone. But I think like there's a lot of I would give it to from all the contenders. Okay, I have my money on Monte. If it's not me, it's gotta be him.
yeah,
Because he had a very good performance last season, and he was rather like for me. Of course, a lot of people are new to the scene, but I think he's rather in quotation marks new. And the more you're doing draft league, the better you get. Barring you me, then you just kind of stay on the same level at some point. But yeah, so I give it to him. I think he has a shot. If I would not be in the league, he had a very easy shot, but now he has like still, of course, a big
yeah. It's gonna be Haxy. It's gonna be you know obviously, everyone will be up in arms. It'll be a big fight. All right, so I think we're coming towards the end of the interview, but right before we go, as a last question to you, what do you want to leave all of the El Scizor fans with at the end of this interview? Like, what is the message that you want to send out to everybody?
Be excited for PPL Season 2. We have a lot of new coaches. We have a lot of new faces. We have a new tiering system. We have new monster draft. It's gonna be a whole new experience, and it's gonna be an awesome one. I can guarantee you that. I talk. Of course, we have me and Frank. So that's actually the first time you can see those two names in the same league. So this is gonna be a one-in-a-lifetime experience to follow this league. So definitely do that. Subscribe to all of the coaches. Subscribe to the PPL channel. Don't miss anything. You're gonna regret it. I tell you, you're gonna regret it if you miss anything. So make sure to watch all of the content and be a part of this awesome experience you can have here.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. And for everyone else, there should be more of these coach interviews coming out all week, forever, however long they last. I actually don't know for sure, but keep your eyes out on the PPL channel. There's going to be tons of content coming your way, and then the battles are going to start. The draft stream, probably not in that order. The draft stream first, then the battles, and then there's going to be a lot more analyst content, including, you know, game of the week and just like looking at future matchups, stuff like that. So tons of content, and like Lars said, you want to see all of it. If you miss any of it, you're going to regret it. So check all of that out. Links should all be in the description for you. With that, though, thank you all so much for watching. We will get out of here and let you all go watch another coach interview very shortly.
Hell yeah.
Take care, everybody.